Do you ever wonder why you do some of the things that you do? Are there things you do and you ask yourself, why did I do that? Or you may think, I'm not supposed to be doing things like that. Even believers, those who are saved, continue to struggle with things we know we're not supposed to do, and we wonder why we can't stop sometimes. The Apostle Paul addresses this issue in Romans chapter 7, verses 13 through 25. He says in verse 21, "So I find this law at work. When I want to do good, evil is right there with me. For the believer, sin will continue to be a part of our lives, but we have been redeemed and our lives have been transformed to the point that because of Christ, we are no longer slaves to sin." The key here is the attitude that Paul had about sin. He hated sin and didn't want sin to be a part of his life. He says in verse 24, "What a wretched man am I! Who will rescue me from this body of death?" He longed to be freed from this struggle. He says in verse 25, "Thanks be to God through Jesus Christ our Lord." One day Christ will come and receive all who have believed unto Himself. We'll receive our glorified bodies and we'll see this struggle with sin come to an end. In the meantime, let's look to God for the strength and courage we need to acknowledge our sin for what it is and go to Him for the cleansing and the forgiveness He desires to give. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry.